Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Cruiserweight fucking Classic, baby. We got another episode of the brand split from day one. This is kind of like the side piece to the main show. So, quicker, little bits of entertainment goodness. On this episode of the Cruiserweight Classic, we've got Matt Riddle taking on Jordan Havoc, Pentagon versus Tony Nese, Evan Bourne versus Drew Gulak, and David Finlay versus Rocky Romero. David Finlay, of course, the son of Fit Finlay. WWE just hates using the name Junior, so I thought that would make sense if I just didn't have him use the name Junior. So there we go. There's a little bit of role playing I got going on. Not really much else to say. Let's get right into the show. And if I remember correctly, the first match opens the show. I was correct, and we're still getting that penalty of turned off by matches outside of the pre-show, but I don't really care. That's the only real pop penalties we're going to be getting. So yeah, I don't really care about the overall ratings. I'm looking more here to see who's performing well. And Jordan Havoc is performing a lot better than I thought he was going to. But he doesn't end up winning the first match of the night. He ends up losing to Matt Riddle. And Matt Riddle advances in the Cruiserweight Classic with the guillotine choke. Pretty good performance here by Jordan Havoc. Following that, we have the other Lucha brother in his match, and Pentagon is taking on Tony Nese. Pentagon getting a 55. That's great. Mauro and Corey Graves have pretty good chemistry. That's awesome. So that's pretty good to see. And I believe all of these, not all, but most of these matches are around 11 minutes. So Pentagon and Tony Nese go for 10.5 minutes, and Pentagon advances as well in the tournament. Tony Nese not doing too well. I wasn't expecting him to pull out some fucking 50s, but 43. Tony Nese, probably going to be a guy going to NXT. I think after each round, I'll say what all the losers are going to do. So in episode 4 of the Cruiserweight Classic, look out for that. That is where I'm going to be saying where all the losers of each round go, whether they're going to the main roster or NXT, or I might release them and pay the money, which probably won't happen. But after that match, that's right, Pentagon does not speak any English. So this was, I saw that Pentagon is pretty good at promos, or not pretty good, but decent at promos. And, well, I mean, he got a 50 and nobody understood what he was saying. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. They're just, the general gist is that they're both making it and they're both going all the way. It's going to be a Phoenix versus Pentagon at some point. I don't think it can be the final, but it will be there at some point. Let me actually check. No, they can be in the final. So yeah, that's what the promo's about, is that Pentagon and Phoenix, they're confident they're both advancing to the finals, and one of them will win the Cruiserweight Classic. Following that, we have David Finlay taking on Rocky Romero. Once again, crowd turned off by pre-show workers, quote unquote. And neither man really did that well. Rocky almost got a 50, so that's pretty good. But Rocky Romero defeated David Finlay in 12-4 with an ankle lock. David Finlay of 2020 is like twice the wrestler that David Finlay of 2016 was. So he's probably going to be going down to NXT as well. That's for sure. The only reason I've said where David Finlay and Tony Nese are going on episodes is because I know for sure everyone else is up in the air whether they're coming to the main roster or not. So Rocky Romero advances in the Cruiserweight Classic. And before his match, Evan Bourne, this was just a little angle to test if he can do pretty good at promos. He didn't have either charisma or microphone in the dark green, but I still wanted to test it, and it wasn't too bad. 47. He's just here and he's saying, I'm excited to be back in the WWE. I've taken a few years off, not a few years. After I was released in 2013, I've worked my ass off in independent wrestling, and I'm here, and I'm gonna make my name a household name and avenge what I did last time. I don't know. But at least for right now, here it is, driver. What the fuck are these? Okay. But at least for now, Evan Bourne's plan is working out as he pulls off a 60, which is by far the highest tonight. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. And he defeats Drew Gulak in the main event of tonight's Cruiserweight Classic to advance to round 2. And that is how we end this episode of the Cruiserweight Classic. Everyone advancing. Cruiserweight Classic isn't really an angle-driven show like the main roster, so we're not going to be having any like bombshell ways to end these shows. Overall show gets a 53. That's more than fine. That's actually surprising because of 2 matches getting in the yellow. But yeah, that's everyone that advances. That is going to do it for this episode of the Cruiserweight Classic. Like I said, these Cruiserweight Classic episodes are going to be short. You know, most of the show is just matches, and unless it's a really big match, I don't really go too story-driven into it, and none of these are big matches, so the episodes are going to be around 6 to 10 minutes. So if you all enjoyed this, if this is your introduction to the brand split from day one, trust me when I tell you Raw and SmackDown are much more interesting than the Cruiserweight Classic. So really go check those out if you're more of a fan of story-driven stuff. But if you're just a fan of just TEW booking, I guess this is the thing for you. So yeah, that's going to do it for this episode of the brand split from day one. I hope to see you guys for Monday Night Raw. It is not the go-home show, it's the week before the go-home show. So yeah, I hope to see you all there.